Everyone says like to enjoy it, and it is so true. It comes and goes so fast. Like everyone said it to us, and I did enjoy it, but you do forget when you're in the midst of planning and the stress of paying for things, and it is all consuming, as you said. But yeah, to remember that it is, before you know it, it'll be over.
Welcome to my podcast. I'm Tanya Corless, and today we talk about the wedding rush. And I have my lovely girl, Emma Maguire. Am I correct?
Emma Corr? Yeah, it's weird.
Hi, Emma. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
All good. So I knew, actually I was the guest, that you got married recently.
Yes, yeah, I think it'll be 3 months now on the 22nd, which is kind of weird to think.
Okay, is it weird for you to be called like Maguire?
Yeah, I haven't gotten used to that.
Yeah,
I'm still Corr. Yeah, I'm still Corr.
I already changed it to work. All this.
I actually haven't even changed it
Not
anywhere.
yet. Okay, that's why. Okay, so weird.
Yeah.
But you're gonna to do this, or I'm too quick saying that?
Maybe too quick for now. I think maybe down the line.
Okay, but from the beginning then.
If there was
Emma Corr.
No, I don't mind. People have said it to me, and we got invited to another wedding since, and I was Maguire at that wedding, so it was the first time I was like, oh God, this is weird.
Okay, so officially look at that. That's brilliant. I love it.
Yeah. Still Corr for now, but yeah, eventually I think it will be Maguire. I'll get used to it.
Problem at the moment. I mean, time-consuming money
I
to
know,
change
that's
all
what
the
I heard,
papers.
'cause you have to change your passport and then your bank account, everything. You know, so
driver's license.
Yeah, I couldn't. So everything's still Corr for now.
It's gonna be happen eventually anyway.
Yeah.
So. Your experience, it was so hard for you to organize, or you had the wedding planner who helped you?
It was actually just us. So we got married in Kilkee Castle, just in Kildare.
Lovely place.
There.
It was a fantastic place.
Yeah, we loved it. And it was the one place we actually hadn't been to a wedding there. So that was I kind of saw it on Instagram and loved it, and then went to view it, and then that was it. And it did appeal to us, the fact that we hadn't been to a wedding there either. But so they did have, we dealt with like 2 different women there. They're kind of like wedding coordinators. So there was Elaine, and then there was Michaela, who took over after she kind of retired. Okay. So we did have their help. Okay. At the site. But then in terms of, actually the planning around the wedding, Peter was very hands-on, but we did it ourselves. So yeah.
And for staff, coordinator, are they the coordinator to you when you just arrived the guest?
Yeah, so actually we kind of met them when we kind of went down to view the wedding. We dealt with Elaine at the time, and she kind of went through like what happens on the day, and they were like, obviously when you're planning a wedding, like this was our first wedding. Oh yeah. So we were just, hopefully. So we were clueless, but they know what they're doing, so she kind of told us what we needed, and that was the first introduction. And then we went down for the food tasting and the wine tasting. She kind of went through everything with us, and they kind of asked us questions then that we hadn't thought about, like timings of things. What time would the florist need access to the church, even to the venue?
Wow, how we can know?
Oh my God, there were things that we didn't even think of, and then we were kind of like, oh God, actually we came out with the bigger list of things to go back and ask our vendors after. So that's how they were so helpful, because things I didn't think about, and like little things. It was like, so for your photographer, how are they going to get to the church? And I was like, well, they're going to drive. And she was like, but she won't be able to drive, because she'll be with you taking photos. And I was like, oh my God, I never thought of that. And she was like, also if the church is busy, she won't be able to park. So how is she going to get there on time? I
got so many questions.
So I was like, oh, actually, so that's how they were so helpful, because they asked the questions that we just didn't think about. Do you know?
Yes.
So
Emma, that's why we're here today. So today we try to clear this, because so many people probably confused, and when they're just thinking, oh my God, my wedding is coming up, I have to start doing something, and they're probably frustrated. Yeah. So we try to clear up and explain how, what, and what after. It's easy peasy when you have an advisor.
I mean, for me as well, I guess that helped. My sister only got married, I think a year and a bit before, maybe a year and a half before me. So I kind of was able to ask her a lot of questions as well.
She advised you as well. Helps. That's fantastic. But not everybody would have such a help.
No.
Who will give you advice, not just to all go there. They're probably nice that they get through all that. They will give you proper advice. Where because it's expensive as well.
Yeah, that's what it is. Like
everything, every single whatever little flowers even will be cost amount of money.
Yeah, that was funny actually. I remember Peter being like, so we agreed like on certain costs, and then when I got to the flowers, Peter was like, yeah, so we'll pull back there, and I was like, yeah, of course, I fully agree. Like I don't really want to go too mad on the flowers, and his idea of pulling back was very different to what my idea was.
Okay.
So that's where we differed on certain things. But yeah, you're right. The budget just goes through the roof. Like,
but you look fantastic. Your dress, your choice of the dress, music, the way how you organized, how you arrived, all together, it was absolutely magnificent.
Thank you.
Like. I had impression it's like a old movie type going. It was so nice.
Thank you so
honestly,
much.
It was that way.
Oh, good.
Done. Okay, what is the biggest challenge for you when you you sit down with Peter? Okay, we got married in a 1 year time approximately, right?
Yeah.
So, what the first thing you start asking yourself? What I have to do?
So I think the biggest thing for us was the venue. Because I had heard that from a lot of people, was once you get the venue, then you have your date, and then you can kind of start to think about what else needs to happen.
Okay.
But it was definitely the venue initially, because you could have a venue in mind and you go and they don't have availability. And so that's another thing. Like we got lucky that they had time for us in March, because as you said, we got engaged maybe the April and then we got married the following March. So it was just about a year. But some venues you could be waiting 2 years. So it depends on if you want to have a long engagement or not, so definitely the venue was the first thing, and then everything gets dictated then around the date.
Okay,
so that's what I'd say.
And what was the biggest challenge for you?
Do you know what our biggest challenge was actually the accommodation on site.
No way.
Yeah.
Why?
Everything else was fine, but so the venue actually, like, again, couldn't praise them more, but they had a wedding the day after us. So a lot of the rooms and stuff were taken for that wedding for people that were coming in the night before.
Okay.
So that was the one thing that was tricky, because we were trying to get as many people on site as possible.
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
Then,
We've been lucky, by the way.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. And you're like, oh God, I need to try and make everyone on site. Now, we were lucky that there were hotels up the road, but it's just easier because you're not having to worry about getting transport to somewhere. And that was probably the most stressful thing. We got very lucky. Everything else seemed to
go smoothly without any.
Yeah.
Okay, where'd you get your dress?
So I got my dress in the white and gold. They are based down in Kinsale, but they have a pop-up shop in Howth, which I think is still there. So I'm not too sure if it's still a pop-up shop.
Okay.
But I got it there. I looked at a few places and I had a dress in mind, but it was not the dress I picked.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? My God, I heard this kind of people doing that.
Yeah. So I had like sleeves in my mind, and I kind of wanted something that was kind of off my shoulders here and like very plain. Like it was plain, but that's what I wanted.
It was a different type, yes. Yeah. Yes, style, completely different.
And then when I tried those kind of style dresses on, I just looked like I was playing dress up. Like it didn't do anything for me. Yeah, and I kind of got a bit disheartened because I wouldn't wear a lot of dresses anyway. So I was like, I don't know if I'm going to find the right one. I went to a couple of different places, and then when I went to the white and gold, then again I did the same thing. I pulled a few dresses, tried them on, didn't suit me. And like at the time I had my mum and my friend Jess with me, and you know the way you can just tell by their faces, they were just like, that's nice.
Try it as well.
Yeah, and that was kind of it. I was getting nothing from them. So then the girl Sorka, who owns the white and gold, she kind of was like, do you mind if I pull a couple of dresses that I think would suit your body type? And literally it was the first one she pulled that I tried on, and then I loved it. And then I went out to my mum and Jess, and the two of them were like, that was it. You know, that kind of a cliche moment. But and then that was the dress. Do you know, it actually was. That was it then. So
it was fantastic.
Yeah, it was all very simple, and that's what I wanted.
But it gave the fantastic classic look. That was honestly.
Yeah.
You can look at you, sometimes saying you can look and not get tired.
Yes.
Yeah, this is what's impression you had wearing this dress. Yeah.
No, and I felt really comfortable in it. And I have to say they were so good to work with in that shop as well, because they also have accessories. So that's where I got my jewellery and
there as well. Yeah. So fantastic.
Yeah.
See, we talk about only brides. What about groom?
So he had 5 groomsmen. And I think the only stressful thing was probably trying to make sure that they were all ready or at the same time to go for like suit fittings but I think they were all just very chilled. So he'd one friend that was a groomsman that lived in Chicago, but he just got his measurements and then that was it. Fantastic. Yeah, so it was actually fine. So yeah,
I had a guest before you some other week, and we talk about the groom outfit. So
yeah.
And so funny, that's usually when they're talking, they even talking about groom outfit, they still talk about woman influence on them huge.
Because it was so funny because it was black tie, so he couldn't do too much with the suit,
but still.
But and then I was like, oh, well, I think I would have been more nervous, but he was getting the suits from a place that a friend of theirs had gotten their suits. And I liked those suits. So I was like, I'm fine. I don't need to see them. I trust what you're picking.
Oh, fantastic. Well done.
Yeah.
It's brave.
It was only because I saw suits that already had come from that same shop.
So I was like,
which type of. They're nice. They're good quality. Yeah, no, that's fine.
Anyway, Peter, you look gorgeous too. Don't get jealous. They're talking about you too. It's not only Emma wedding, it's yours wedding too.
Yeah, our day.
Okay, so for mine it was easy peasy because they just basically followed the instruction that you created.
Yeah. And he actually was very hands-on. Because we went down the night before and they played golf and we had like a dinner and stuff. And to be fair, he actually organised a lot of the kind of night before, the day two, that kind of thing. So he was actually very instrumental in those kind of things. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so by the way, about the ring, did you pick this ring or he picked this ring for you?
I picked the ring.
Yeah. And how does it work? So did you have an idea what you want, or he offered you what he liked you?
So he actually got what's called, I think it's called a promise ring. So he went to a shop and I think they laughed at him because he went in and he was like, can I get a fake engagement ring? And they were like, I think you mean a promise ring. Yeah. I love it. So like, it's just like a little token ring that isn't too expensive, but it's just to kind of, a token. So he picked that and then, so he proposed with that ring. And then when we kind of, after the celebrations and stuff and we went into town then and I picked my own ring.
That's fantastic.
But again, I kind of had an idea of what style.
You would like to, yeah. I think it's right to do because who will be wearing this ring?
Oh,
you, not them. And if you gonna go with the wrong one, that's gonna be a problem for the rest of your life.
And it could be kind of an awkward conversation if you're like, oh, I love it, but not that much.
Not that much. So I left it home today because whatever.
Or it's a hint that I want a new one. So it worked out well doing it that way.
How did he propose you? Did he bring you some special place? Did he go to your house and talk to your parents in the front?
So he did actually ask my dad before.
It's so old-fashioned. I love that.
So he'd bought a house maybe just a year before that. And dad, so bless Peter, he's not very good around the house. So my dad has helped us a lot, like with DIY.
Thank God you have someone who will be doing
I know. So my dad, for a couple of months, lived basically in our house. So I don't know where I was. I was gone somewhere, and I might have been away with work actually. And my dad was over, and Peter asked my dad while he was in the house. So like, my mum didn't have a clue. He kept it from my mum, and we always used to give my dad a lot of stick that he couldn't keep a secret, but actually he kept this secret for 6 weeks. So
this one done, good.
Yeah, and then it was funny then because I think it was 1 week. I think I'd been away a good bit with work at the time, and Peter, I said to Peter, I think I'm going to meet the girls on Saturday. This was like the week before. And he was like, oh, maybe we could do something. And I was like, okay, well, do you want to plan something? And I'll tell the girls I'm not around then. He was like, yeah. So it got closer to the weekend and he still hadn't planned anything. So I was just like, right, I'm going to go meet the girls because you've planned nothing. So I was kind of getting annoyed at him. And
poor Peter.
And then Saturday morning came around and I was like, so what do we do? And he was like, oh, maybe we could just go for a walk or something. And I was like, oh. I was like, Shauna, just go into town there. We could just go for like get a lunch or go for a few drinks somewhere. And he was like, no, I think we should go for a walk. It's a nice morning. And it was a beautiful morning. So then we went up to Ticknock for a walk and he proposed there.
Oh,
but it was
so
funny.
romantic.
Yeah, it was funny looking back because I didn't really see all the signs, like that morning. He wasn't sure what car park to go to. So I had his phone.
Nervous.
Yeah, I had his phone then looking at like Google Maps. But I think obviously he must have got a fright. He was afraid then that my dad would text or something.
And ask, I
like,
already did.
Yeah, so he was like, actually give me the phone. So he just took the phone off me straight away. Like, kind of
weird.
Of weird. Like, and then we'd kind of go for a walk and then we stopped and then he stopped for ages. And I was like, oh, let's keep going. So I was looking back, I can see the things. Yeah. And it was even the morning of, actually. It was the morning of, he went to put on like a pair of jeans and like a proper jumper just to go for a walk. And I was like, what are you doing? We're just going for a walk, you know. Whereas I was like, my hair was so greasy, I had to put a hat on to cover my hair because I was like, well, I'll wash it when I get back. Yeah. So looking back, it was obvious. But yeah, I was...
Peter, well done.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Yeah. And then he'd booked, actually, to be fair to him, he'd booked a lunch with my mum and dad and his mum and dad after. So we went home and kind of got ready, and we met down in Monkstown because he told my dad to keep my mum free that day. And he'd said the same.
Organize everything behind your back. Oh, well done.
And then he told his mum the same. So I think his mum, Noreen, was a little bit onto it, I think.
Maybe she was guessing. I don't know.
Yeah. So then the 6 of us went for lunch and we had a couple of drinks down there, and then he'd planned a party back in ours. So he'd hid loads of food and drink everywhere. He did it all actually in the utility room where I don't really go. So he'd hid everything in that room. So I didn't know at all. And like in the boot of his car, and... Yeah, so it was a really nice day. Yeah, he'd loads planned in the end.
He planned behind.
Yeah, I thought he'd nothing
the parents
planned.
is very, very, very good.
Yeah, and actually there are little things that I loved, like just the fact that he had my mum and dad. It was just really nice, just the 6 of us to go before we kind of saw everyone else, you know.
And you talk about it, and you should celebrate together. It was nice and family.
Yeah. Although the only thing he didn't think of was, and he didn't know, was my sister was actually in London that weekend. So she actually flew home as soon as I rang her. She booked a flight and came home that Saturday afternoon. So she was in ours that evening. It was the one thing he was like, fuck, I didn't realise. Yeah, so that was that.
Fantastic.
But yeah, it was such a good day.
Good memories. Well done. Peter, well done.
Yeah.
That's very important for a woman anyway, because if it's done in a proper way, you will have a good memories. You can even feeling this, yes, it's my right decision, and I can trust to man who are future husband I can see.
Yes, yeah.
Especially bottle ready house together. So you just, oh my God, it's another tick he done in my house.
Yeah, no, I was really happy. And even just asking my dad, something simple, but actually it meant a lot to me.
That's for everybody. My God, I don't think many people do. Maybe they do, but I don't know. But
yeah, I don't know. Maybe it depends on the circumstance or the family situation.
Yes, but it's lovely.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
No, yeah.
So what tips you can give to couples who decide to get married and they're looking for the fun venue, and the menu, they all sorted about this part, but also need to do lots of things, organize, for example, photographer, videographer, those flowers girls or whatever else. So what tips you can give to other ones, not to maybe do your mistakes if you do any mistakes?
Yeah, well, I was really happy what we did is we actually just stayed pretty organized early because I didn't want to leave anything to the last week. Okay. And that was one thing I'm so glad we did. Like I kind of kept tipping away at little bits here and there. Like we made sure that we had the florist booked in advance, you know, any little extra things, like if it was for the flower girls or the page boys, you know, it was kind of getting everything in advance so that we didn't have a mad rush the week of, because no matter how organized you are, that week before is still busy.
It's still busy.
So, but it just meant we weren't mental that week
and you
before.
want to have over how much?
Exactly. Yeah. So that was that's one thing I think I'm glad looking back that we did.
Okay.
That I've advised.
It was hard mentally for you.
Yeah. I'd say it was hard. I'd say it's just so time consuming. Like it's really exciting planning a wedding. Yeah, but you
still live your normal life, going to work, meeting your friends, family.
It takes up a lot of your time, and I don't think you realize that until the wedding's over, and then you have your evenings and weekends back, and you're like, oh, actually, this is quite nice. Like there's a bit of a relief to it as well. You know, it's sad because you're mourning that the day is over, but actually, it's quite that feeling of having your time back is quite nice.
I know you bring your invitation with you. Can you show?
Yeah, of course.
Because this was absolutely fantastic idea. One of them.
Oh yes, I don't know how to open it.
We got so many this year. It's all brilliant, to be honest. After COVID waiting soon.
Oh, I know. Yeah. So it's kind of like this. I don't know how to. It had like a little wax. It came with a little wax thing that I didn't put on.
Oh yes, those games. Yeah. Okay, I'll show like this. Just was like that. Again, it's look like an old-fashioned idea, to be honest. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to see, guys. That is lovely. And it's, if you don't mind open.
No, not at all. Open away, easy. It's like a little sleeve or something on it.
Oh, it's
So yeah, there was one.
Oh yeah,
for
it's
like,
one too. Okay,
yeah.
so we'll put like that. So one page was look like that, and second one dance. And I like about a QR code. When you go there, you can book yourself and see the menu, everything. So basically, all information about the wedding that you go into, it's all there. All invitation from the bride and groom there.
Yeah.
No, it was a brilliant idea. Look very delicate.
No, it was really good. Although, do you know one thing I did do with the wedding invitations that I only realised actually after we went to that other wedding after ours, Mark and Emma's. Because I wrote all the cards. I put like all the women first.
Okay.
So
Is it right or wrong?
Well, I think it's wrong because I think if it's you're inviting, say for Peter, say if it was his friend that was being invited, you'd put the friend first, and then it was their partner or the +1 next.
Okay, yeah, I know
Whereas,
what you mean.
do
Yes.
you know what I mean? Whereas I didn't realize I did that. I put all the women first.
Yeah.
So it was like I was
first.
inviting everyone, and then Peter's friends were the +1. Do you know that way?
If she's invited, you have to come too.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't realize I did it, and then I was like, oh, actually, I did that for everyone. So,
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And they're all there.
They were all there, so yeah, it made no difference. But I think the +1s were invited as my friend, and then Peter's actual friends were the +1s. So
They had a laugh.
yeah, so that was it. And
Did you
then,
nervous?
Do you know, it's funny. I think I was so like busy with the planning and having like I kept making loads of lists, and it was every day it was like, okay, I have to do this today. And you're kind of so you're just so focused on that I wasn't too nervous. But then I actually got nervous just when we were about to go into the church, and I was like, oh my God, this is it. You know, that kind of way.
Yes. This day is coming now, so it's a few hours time, and I will be there. Yeah.
So that's when I kind of got nervous. And then when you're walking up the aisle, that was a little bit nerve-wracking, and I was kind of dreading that part anyway, because it's kind of all eyes on you. And so I was nervous for that part, but it was actually fine, and it was over really quickly, that part of walking in.
It was very nice. Actually, church organized, decorated. It was absolutely beautiful. Every single flower been on the place and touched nicely.
Oh, thank you.
That is true.
Yeah, no, and it was a lovely, like it was a nice small church.
Yes, it's what you needed.
Yes, yeah.
Ceremony was brilliant.
No, and I have to say the priest there and everyone that we dealt with were so good as well. Like I know some churches, they're quite strict on the music you play.
Oh, seriously? I didn't know that. Okay.
Because some places you go, it has to be religious music.
Oh no,
and then other places it's only religious for like the religious parts, you know. So if it's the communion or something like that, then I get
fine,
it.
Yeah.
But we were allowed to do
whatever we wanted. That is fantastic. You like it?
Yeah, and it was funny because we had a string quartet in the church, and we sent them our list, and they were like, "Are you sure the priest is okay with this?" And we feel like, no, we've checked, and then we'd get nervous, so we'd be like, "Okay, we'll check again just to make sure." So we did, and then we got back to them. We're like, "No, he's definitely okay with it." So. And then you have to get the green book, was what they call it. But I think it's just like the legal document for you to get married in Ireland. I think you have to do that within within 3 to 6 months of you getting married. Okay. So again, you have to go in it's actually just around the corner from where you are, to like, they ask you a load of questions, and you have to kind of prove you are who you are, that you're not related.
Okay, that's important. It's not your brother.
Yeah. And that you have to say you're not going to marry like your partner's uncle or brother, all these random things they say to you that you just have to declare.
Okay, this is correct.
Exactly.
So, okay. So you do their church marriage. Do you need to do civil? Do you need to go to the civil service and get any kind of a stamp, or
this was kind of it?
That's enough. Yeah. So basically, it's a legal document. This will be recognized, but any organization that you're married.
So then what happens, I think after we did that, then you have to go in and meet the priest, and they ask you questions around like, are you happy? It's basically what he explained to us was they basically ask you questions so that it's not in front of everyone. So it's like, do you want to get married?
Confession.
Kind of like that.
Okay.
You know, that this is your kind of moment, like to say like, have you any, are you any concerns? How do you really feel?
Hiding any secrets?
Is someone making you do it?
That
kind of way. That
kind of
thing. Yeah, and actually we learned, because I asked the question, I was like, oh God, have you ever signed off on people and you're not really too sure about it? And he actually said, there's been 2 people that he wasn't, or two separate couples that he wasn't too sure about. And I didn't realize this. I don't know if he told us so. But basically they can write on the back, the priest can, if it's a Catholic wedding, that he isn't sure if this will work.
Okay.
And you see that goes into the files in the church. And then say if, God forbid, you got married and you decided within a couple of weeks' time that that it wasn't for you, that actually legally they can look back and see if there's any notes from the priest. And if he thought that at the time, something was up, that actually will stand.
Oh, wow.
So if you try to annul it and actually for whatever reason the priest has kind of had an inkling there, it'll actually be in your favor. You know what I mean? It'll be in your favor. I didn't know that before. But
can you imagine somebody just doesn't like you because whatever you said something against his vision, and then he left some notes.
Yeah,
I'm going to be working against
you. You can't see those because I was like, I'd love to know if he said something about me and Peter, but it's in the church. Yeah. Now I don't know how often they comment or if
I know
some of them are bothered,
yes.
But he said he can remember 2 times.
Some kind of element of that could happen.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So couples.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful what you're saying.
I know. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Any other tips or advice for the couples when they decide to get married? What they have to pay attention?
Everyone says like to enjoy it, and it is so true. It comes and goes so fast. Like everyone said it to us. And I did enjoy it, but you do forget when you're in the midst of planning and the stress of paying for things, and it is all consuming, as you said. But to remember that it is, before you know it, it'll be over. Like, I mean, I said we're almost 3 months now since ours, and I can't believe that,
So quick.
So it does go really quick.
So I presume you had your vision of what you'd like wedding, and Peter probably had his own. How you put all together, and did you have many fights in between? Not a fight, but this discussion, but maybe very emotional discussion. Where he's trying, no, it has to be this because my dad or my mom love that way. It's no, our tradition is different, and you have to follow.
No, we kind of did. Like, so when I was younger, some girls always, I guess, dream about getting married and having a big wedding. I actually didn't. So I always said if I was going to get married, I was going to have a small wedding, which didn't happen.
It was almost
a big enough wedding. But Peter comes from
depends to compare what.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, but Peter comes from a big family and has a lot of friends. Not that I don't, but you know what I mean. I think
I know what you mean. So when you have a big family, so it's a different story.
Exactly.
Yes,
yeah. So before you know it, your numbers are actually quite big. So we did have a big wedding. And I guess that was something that we kind of discussed at the very beginning. Were we going to do that? Would we do a smaller wedding? And then, we kind of both compromised and we're like, no, this is what we're doing. If we're going to go for it, we're going to go for it. And I guess that's what we kind of compromised on.
Okay. So it was so many compromise then happened.
Yeah.
And who was more flexible but compromising?
Oh, I'd say I would like to say me, but probably Peter.
So did you get any advice from the parents, your side or his side, saying, okay, guys, because it's a wedding, it's the first wedding and hope the last one. So we have our vision, the way it has to be happened.
Oh, no, we got very lucky. Both parents were just very chilled. It was our day. We could do what we want. Yeah, there was no pressure from
anyone. That's very good.
Yeah, no, we're very lucky.
Because I think it's very unfair.
Yeah.
From the parents' side, when they try to keep pressure, okay, maybe because the kids may be younger and they believe they know better, but obviously it's unfair.
No, we got extremely lucky.
Good, very good.
Yeah.
So you had obviously lovely day, very compromising 1 year around before the wedding starts.
Yeah.
Basically, this is the year, just maybe give you an example of your future life, because you start on living together, but the house is set, and you will planning lots of things, kids, up to front sooner or later. So we need to make so many decisions.
Yeah.
And go together, like you jump into one boat and you have to able to go on the river.
Yes, yeah, definitely, yeah. No, it is. It's a learning curve.
So it was helpful.
I think so.
So would you say would be maybe easy for you or maybe not necessarily this year to have all this preparation would be easy for you to be speedy to go and get married in civil service, like get this only stamp and a passport and says, well, we're married. We wouldn't do this a church wedding. We wouldn't do all these preparations. And maybe in a year time, 5 years time, you will say, okay, now we're ready to get this as a church wedding. So what do you think?
Would I do it again, kind of thing?
No, would you think it's better? Would you say it would be better for you to go that path that you choose, or you maybe thinking it will be too hard, or maybe it's too much preparation, too much money, too much whatever, and would be easy just to go and do the stamp and the civil service and then
do you know what?
have this leisure?
Yeah, no, I have to say I'm really glad we did it the way we did it.
Okay.
And having the memories and the photos now to look back on it. Yeah, I really am, yeah. I'm really happy with how it all went.
Okay, it's fantastic. Yes. Because some people think, and you can see nowadays, they're living together for 10 years. They probably married, got the stamp and a passport, and when the kids grow up and when they're 50 years old, they get married. So it's lovely still, but I think it's nicer when you have young bride and groom.
Yeah.
Not I'm against that, absolutely not. Yeah. But at the same time, for old woman, it's important to have this white lovely dress and feel yourself like a princess. It's your special day.
Yeah.
But sometimes, I don't know. If you ask me the same question, I wouldn't know what to answer. But some people thinking it's easier just to have that way and do not forget about the church wedding.
I guess again it depends on the couple and the situation. Do you know?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. I'm talking about standard situation. I'm talking about standard couples who are met each other, seeing each other some whatever, and then they're ready to get married and move to another.
The next
step, or turn to another corner. So anyway, today we discussed about a lot of things, and I'm so delighted to meet you. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
And I think and I hope we clear all the questions that probably so many couples go through when they decide to get married, because I wouldn't know how to get It's so complicated. Maybe it sounds like, but I think it was so clear today.
Good.
How you explain that it's so easy, because doesn't matter where you're going to, venue and place we get their dress, the florist, they give you advice and direct you where you need to go or where you need to look at it. It's important, because I was feeling like, okay, get married, and you're feeling frustrated. You floated like something in the middle of the ocean, what to do, where to go to. Yeah. And of course, Google helping too.
Yeah, that's true.
So thank you very much, Emma, for coming. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.